There's a way to do populism in politics, whether or not you actually are a man or woman of the people. Then there's the way that John Racy is doing it in West Virginia, where he is the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate, his third try for the office. Mr. Racy is a really, 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 really wealthy guy, which is not so uncommon in West Virginia, at least among United States senators. Democrat Jay Rockefeller is, after all, a freaking Rockefeller. But Think Progress pointed us recently to an interview that Mr. Racy gave a few days ago to Politics Daily writer Matt Lewis. When asked about his background in business, Mr. Racy was handed his politician's chance to relate to Joe the coal miner. And Mr. Racy proceeded to blow that chance totally.
Tell us just a little bit about you and your business experience and how you got here.
Well, I made my money the old-fashioned way. I inherited it, and I think that's a great thing to do, and I hope more people in this country have that opportunity as soon as we abolish inheritance tax in this country, which is a key part of my program.
That is an old joke about the old-fashioned way with money, but from his tone, I think John Racy meant it.
I made my money the old-fashioned way. I inherited it, and I think that's a great thing to do.
He's either the most deadpan man on earth or he didn't know that's supposed to be a joke. John Racy is the Republican candidate for Senate in West Virginia. He is the CEO by nepotism of Greer Industries, which mostly produces steel and limestone. Mr. Racy's grandparents started Greer in 1917, a time for which Mr. Racy is nostalgic. That nostalgia, in fact, is one of the main bases of his campaign for West Virginia's Senate seat.
My family came here from Wales in the 1880s, and we've been in the steel business, banking business, and as you went over several of the other businesses we've been in. But my grandmother was the matriarch of all of our family. What she created and what she did at the turn of the century still resonates today if we would have that opportunity in this country to bring back capitalism the way that my grandmother had those fruits and really enjoyed it.
Ah, yes, the good old days. If only we could go back to turn of the century capitalism, the way it used to be. At the turn of this last century, in 1999, the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, celebrated what the last century has meant for people who have to work for a living. This is just the graph of Americans killed annually in mining over the decades. West Virginia, right? Over there on the left side, with roughly 13,000 Americans dying in mines in a year, more than 30 Americans dying a day in just that one industry, those would be John Racy's good old days. The past century has brought us all sorts of anti-capitalist stuff like mining regulations that brought the death rate of miners down to just merely horrifying from apocalyptic. It also brought us rules against child labor. Also brought us, weekends, which many Americans find handy to this day. But remember, Democrats don't want to risk a national campaign in these elections by saying Republicans are looking after rich people and not the middle class. Remember, Democrats think this year that message might not stick.
I made my money the old-fashioned way. I inherited it.